Escape to the metaverse. Better act like you know. Yeah. You are now tuned into the Matthew Rizzle show. Yeah. Escape to the metaverse. Better act like you know. Yeah. You are now tuned into the Matthew Rizzle show. Yeah. Escape to the metaverse. Better act like you know. Yeah. You are now tuned into the Matthew Rizzle show. Yeah. Escape to the metaverse. Better act like you know. You are now tuned into the Matthew Rizzle show. Yeah.
Hey everyone, it's Matthew. Before we begin this week's show, I just want to introduce this week's sponsor, Metacast Group. Metacast Group connects companies with creators in the NFT space through a network of NFT and metaverse-focused content creators and influencers. Hear or see your ad on shows just like the Matthew and Rizzle show to amplify your reach, connect with your target audience, promote your project, and convert views into action. If you're interested in this, reach out at metaversegroup.com or follow us on Twitter at MetacastGroup. Thank you, and please enjoy the show.
Okay, Simon, welcome to the Matthew and Rizzle show.
Hello, guys. First of all, I'd like to say thank you so much for having me on. It's much appreciated, man.
I'm really stoked to have you on and to talk about your project, the Graf Giraffe Gang. But before we get into the project, I'd love to know a little bit more about yourself. So feel free to kind of unpack and share your history and everything that you've been doing as an artist and up until this point. That'd be great.
Yeah, man. Thank you. So, yeah, my name's Simon. I'm from the northeast of England. So apologies to all the listeners if they can't quite catch every word I say. It's like a mixture of Scottish and Viking, all rolled into one. And it's normally quite tricky for people to decipher. So I'm going to kind of slow it down. If anyone is wondering where the area is, it's where Sting comes from. He is our most famous export. And he loved the place that much. Then he left when he was 18. So that gives you a feel for the area. It's a funny old fishing place, fishing village. But yeah. So yeah, I grew up. I went to school, didn't really pay much attention. Was more into mischief. Was into hip hop. Was into like graffiti, all that elements. Really into art, I suppose. And then when I left school, I didn't want to get a real job, so I joined college and did drama because I thought that would be the easiest way to get through. And there was loads of girls on the course, so that was fun. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And I've always been into, like I say, art and performing. So fast forward a few years, I was doing stand-up comedy and also comedy for children, which then led into doing children's picture books. So that was both author and illustrator. So again, I got to use the artistic side for that. And that's pretty much what I've been doing up until the pandemic hit. I was regularly performing. And then obviously, as we'll get into, I became disabled not long after. And things kind of went a bit upside down.
Dude, I would love to hear how you sort of took that and, you know, turned that into something positive and are working on turning that into something positive in the NFT space, and just sort of how you got like into crypto and NFTs in the first place.
Yeah, definitely. So it was 2020, about the middle of 2020, the summer. When I was playing football, I believe you call it soccer incorrectly.
Right. Yes, we are incorrect.
Playing football with some mates and our children. And I noticed when I was like running, I mean, I'm not the most athletic person anyway, but when I was like running about, my right arm and right leg was started shaking and spasming. And that was the first time I noticed it. And then it started getting progressively worse. When I was walking up the stairs, my right leg would give way. And then it got to the point where I couldn't really do any kind of movements without my arm and legs spasming. So I went for various MRI scans because they didn't know whether this was like Parkinson's or MS. They didn't know what it was. So a few months later, eventually they got to the bottom of it, and I've got a degenerate disease called cervical myelopathy, which is a disc degenerate disease, and it affects the nerves. So I had to have 3 of the discs removed from my neck. Now, at the time, before I had the procedure, the surgeon, which I didn't know at the time, informed me the operation was to stop the disease progressing further, and it wouldn't actually reverse the symptoms, which was a crushing blow. So I had the surgery, and maybe a month later, I was really down, really depressed, because I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I didn't know what to do. I'd had a children's book with the former world heavyweight boxer Frank Bruno that was there ready to go, and I didn't know how I was going to continue to do that project. So I was pretty much lying in bed just feeling sorry for myself. And it was my wife who kind of went, right, snap out of it. You need to start doing something. So I had an iPad, Apple Pencil. That's what I used to illustrate most of the time. And I just kind of picked it up. She forced me to pick it up. So I picked it up and started doodling. And I kind of started drawing giraffes. I don't know why. That's kind of what happened. And then I pretty much left them for a while. And what happened with getting into crypto was I just started hearing more about NFTs. Now, I'd heard about these in about 2018. I'd heard of CryptoPunks. Now, at the time, I was doing pixel art, and I remember looking at CryptoPunks and thinking, well, that's not very good. How wrong I was to not get involved back then. I could kick myself, but I didn't think much of it. To be honest, I didn't really understand the concept. I obviously knew what crypto was. I knew about it since 2011, but again, just never. I always felt like I'd left it too late. This was in 2011, so I kind of left that. But I got more and more into the NFT scene. I was reading more, watching YouTube videos, following people on Instagram and on Twitter, and I got really into it. And there was a guy on YouTube who's from the same part of the world I'm from, and he has a lot with his blockchain. So I kind of got in touch, and I started chatting to him really. And then I mentioned the children's book project I had with Frank Bruno, the former heavyweight boxer. And basically the children's book series is to help with children with mental health problems. So we've got 3 books. And I just said to him, is there any way the crypto, blockchain, NFT, any of this technology can help get these books out for free? So that, because I'm from an underprivileged background where I live in the world, it's very much a working class area. So I didn't want to have to charge. I wanted children to be able to access these books and these resources without having to pay. And Andy kind of said, yeah, NFTs, why don't you get in touch with Frank Bruno, and see if we can do NFTs that will fund the children's book. So I kind of thought about it, and Frank said, yeah. And then next thing I know, I'm launching a series of 3 NFTs on the Zilliqa blockchain on Andy's platform, Okimoto, and that completely paid for the children's book series that we're now going to be able to give away digitally to every child, every English-speaking child at first in the world. And then our next goal is to get them translated into other languages. So they'll be available online, on iPad, Android, for every child in the world that needs them. So that kind of blew me away of how much the NFT community, who again I wasn't part of at the time, but how much they kind of got behind this project to help kids with mental health issues. And it just blew my mind. And that's kind of when I got more into with the giraffe, thinking what I was going to do with it. That's when I thought, maybe if I do this could be a way to help other disabled artists. So that's kind of what happened, really.
Oh, wow. So you had started with that book with Frank for children, right? And then you parlayed that into an NFT play to fund it and to distribute the book to all English speaking children all around the world. And now, based on that success, that's where the Graf Giraffe Gang is kind of coming into the forefront, right? Okay.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the dream now. To do with that project.
Okay. So, and then, but I want to go back to that sort of like that drafting session where it seems like you were riffing on what to draw, thinking about what to draw, and the giraffes popped up back then. I mean, can you unpack that a little bit more, because that doesn't seem like completely random. Like, how did you stumble upon the giraffe, and then when you came back to the second NFT project, why did you go back to the giraffes?
So I was originally, my wife took a picture of the back of my neck because I had plates in the side of my head, and I had a big slit going all the way from the base of my head right down my back. So she took a picture and it looked disgusting, and I thought, I fancy drawing that. So I kind of just started drawing this weird deformed beat up neck, and then added a head, and then next thing I know, I'm adding big ears, long face, and it's a giraffe. And I was kind of made us chuckle a bit, made us laugh. So then I kind of just kept drawing a little family of these weird necked giraffes, and just the idea of, I've always found giraffes funny. I don't know why. There's certain animals that always make us laugh. Lots of the primates, but giraffes are funny looking. They're awkward. They always look uncomfortable in their own bodies, and I can very much relate to that. So they made us laugh. So I kept drawing lots and lots of giraffes. And then, like I say, after the NFT project, Frank, just because of the success and how unexpected it was, I went back to the giraffe drawings, and I was seeing a lot of the avatar NFTs, and I know a lot of them were programmable, but I thought it would be good to do like a hand-drawn version. And then the more I drew, the more I thought, I wonder if there's other people who've been in the same position where they've loved doing art. It's been their career. And then I know certainly with my disease, on many forums for this disease, a lot of people are unable to work. So that really got us thinking that, maybe there could be a positive out of all this negativity that's happened over the last couple of years. There could be maybe a way to bring a positive out of it, and get people like in the same position as me who may be not as confident, get them working again. So that was the dream, really, and still is.
I love that. And then, well, do you want to kind of unpack now in a little bit more detail exactly what the Graf Giraffe Gang entails? How many of these drafts are there? What's the format, the release, and all that good stuff for us?
Yeah, man. So at the moment, I've got around 250, because it takes quite a lot of time to hand draw. So the plan is we launch this Sunday, 29th of August, and the plan is if the first 100 sell, I'll then be in a position with the funds raised to go out and start employing disabled artists. So within 10 days of the first 100 selling, I will release the second 100. And like, as I say, I will be in a position then to employ disabled artists to get them on board with the project. And then within 2 months of that, I want to release the rest of the 2,500 rafts. That's what I'm calling them, rafts. So there's going to be 2,500 in total. I'm just really looking forward to seeing other artists take on the giraffes, the different quirks and different art styles they'll bring to it. The same format, the same standard sizing, but every other artist's input. I'm really looking forward to see the collaboration. And more than anything, I really want to build a community behind it. I've got a Discord, which people are just starting to join now. I give away free membership NFTs for everyone who has joined the Discord. So I really want to build a community. But also, I don't just want it to be, I want to support this because it's helping disabled artists. I want people to actually like the rafts and like what they're about and like the look of them, like the attitude, like the style. And everybody who is a raft holder will automatically be entered into the giraffle. Yeah, I cringe when I say it.
Yeah.
But at the time I thought, yeah, that's really cheesy. I'm going to stick with that.
Dude,
so
roll with that.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with that.
Have to.
So yeah, it's going to be a bi-monthly giraffle, and the prizes will increase in value the more the rafts are traded. And that I plan for that to be ongoing all the way through, for that to keep going. So I'm going to start off by picking a random raft holder and their raft. I will hand paint, spray paint on canvas. We'll do T-shirts, maybe figures, and then I'm hoping for the prizes to get more and more, and for the community to build more and more, and to ask the community what they would want and what they want to do with the project. So yeah, that's the dream. That's the goal.
Dude, I love everything about this so much, man. I'm like, especially I feel like we're in the midst of like, you know, this massive influx of organizations and money and like big business like coming into crypto and NFTs. And you know, I feel like projects like this, man, like really get back to like the core of what, you know, the whole ethos of what originally sprung up around this, and being able to like distribute children's books for free, like all around the world. You know, being able to reach out and help disabled people. Dude, honestly, man, this shit gets me choked up. I appreciate Matt like fielding the last couple of questions, because, you know, I just really, really appreciate the, you know, mentality behind this. Dude, if, you know, someone's listening to this and is inspired and wants to like, you know, get involved, you know, I'm just curious, man, you know, you look at the drafts, you know, first glance, man, it's easy to mistake almost anything for like a randomly generated profile picture project. And this is clearly not that. So, you know, someone's listening, someone wants to get involved, someone wants to draw a giraffe. Like how does this actually like play out on the ground level?
Yeah. So, as soon as the first 100 go, I'll be putting an open shout out for disabled artists. And that don't just mean physically disabled either. I know especially a lot of the art community suffer with mental health. Again, that was the reason for doing the children's book project. Suffered with mental health a lot as a child. In the 90s in the UK, very little resources, very little. To this day, after the pandemic, the country, the mental health resources have been absolutely crippled to the core. I should mention this as well. My wife, during this whole thing, kind of changed our lives completely. My wife set up a non-profit for children's mental health called Mind Stars. I designed obviously all the logos and everything for her, and now she's got her own premises, completely non-profit. And she's got, we take children from underprivileged backgrounds. They're all there now at the summer camp that's running, which kind of gives people, no matter what the financial situation, a break, because it can be hard as single parents having the kids all the time. And a lot of these kids have specific needs. So there's a full team there now dealing with that. We kind of just thought when it felt like the world was ending for a bit, and especially my own personal circumstances, me and my wife got together and thought, right, we just need to do something that's going to fulfill us and make us happy in what we're doing. We've never been really financially motivated. Yes, I'm interested in crypto, but it's always been the NFT side. It's never been the money side and the different tokens and shit coins and all. It just doesn't interest us. But seeing the actual community aspect behind the NFTs is what really got to me. And I thought, wow, this community does actually care, which is hard for someone like me, a stiff Brit. I'm used to sarcasm and dour attitudes, but wow, the NFT community's just blown my mind.
Yeah. The NFT community is definitely the opposite of dour. There's not a whole lot of dourness in the NFT space at this point.
Sorry, mate. Hi, can you hear me again? Cool. So, I don't know where I was up to there, but yeah, let's say the NFT community blew my mind. And yeah, there will be once the first 100 rafts go, there'll be an open call for artists on Twitter at Graf Giraffe Gang, or my personal at Simon Hetherington, where, like I say, mental or physical disability, any artist can apply, and I would love to have them as part of the community.
And then in terms of the artists that the sales ideally will help support, will those artists be the artists that are actually contributing to the Graf Giraffe Gang, or like is there a foundation or a specific group that helps disabled artists that the funds will be directed to? Like how will that part actually work?
I want the funds to go straight to the artists.
Okay.
I don't know of any organisation for disabled artists, but with this project, I want to be able to just give that instantly, and obviously with blockchain, and it's programmable, that the money will just go straight to their wallets. I don't want them to have to stress about waiting application forms. I just want to, if their art style matches and the community, they feel part of the community, and it's a match, that then they're on board and they will get paid instantly for their artwork.
Love that.
Dude, go ahead, Matt.
No, dude. I just have to say I love that. You go ahead, dude.
Yeah, dude, I'm overwhelmed by like how great this project is and how great the initiative is behind it. And, you know, it just makes me think like why other things aren't being done like this out there. And, you know, I do feel like the first people to start initiatives like this, like, Simon, you better be careful, man. If this thing like blows up on you, you may have to like, you know, create some other giraffe habitats somewhere.
Yeah, man.
Dude,
That's, I guess for me the main part that I struggle with is the business side, promotion and marketing, and I suppose that's always the case, really. So I mean, I've been looking at the people that, like yourselves, again, I must say how much I appreciate for giving me this opportunity. But the people I've reached out to, I don't know if you know Luke Kerner. I saw him on a YouTube video. He runs the NFT conference. I can't remember the name of it. I reached out to him, and again, he was like, yeah, love the project. I'll try my best to see if I can help you out in any way. And just all the people I've reached out to that have been part of the NFT community, whether that be podcasters, people on Twitter, people on YouTube, they've all been so supportive of the project. So yeah, I haven't heard of any other projects similar to this so far. I've tried to research it, many. I know a lot of NFT projects give back to certain charities. I know some of the Avatar projects do give back to animal charities and whatnot, but I haven't heard of any that are out there to help actual like digital artists. So I'm hoping this will be successful and I can get a load of artists involved and part of the community and give back some. That would be the dream.
Yeah, dude. I think it's amazing, man. I feel like stuff like this has, you know, a huge opportunity to sort of create a blueprint for, you know, other related projects that could serve good causes. And you're right, man. I feel like in terms of, and this is something I've been trying to get more and more involved in as well, which is why I was very inspired by your project, is, you know, I feel like the crypto charity community is very fragmented and all over the place and just super early on, but there is a very strong desire amongst a lot of people in the NFT community to contribute to something positive that's like crypto native. And I think that's been like the huge disconnect, is that like, you know, people have found conventional charities that accept crypto, but there's not a whole lot of like crypto native causes that, you know, you can feel good that, you know, something you're supporting something in-house, you know, so to speak. Dude, going back to your first project, man, you know, you touched on it briefly, but I'm just curious to hear, like, you know, how that went in terms of like distributing the book. Like, did it get a lot of noise? Like, when did you release it within like the NFT hype cycle? Because I feel like I really wish I had heard about something like that. I have kids, and I feel like, again, man, that's like a thing that there's an appetite for it, I believe, if you know, it can get out in front of enough people and get enough traction. And, you know, I think we're just all so early on.
Yeah. So the books haven't been released yet. The books are scheduled to be released in October online. And how that started was during the first UK lockdown when the pandemic hit, I started doing free art classes on Facebook for kids, where I would draw pictures and they would copy along. And I didn't do it seriously. I don't ever claim to be a teacher. I'm also a joker. So I kind of me and my wife ran them together and would joke around quite a lot, quite heavily. It's probably some of the jokes are inappropriate for children, but the parents seem to enjoy it. So it kind of went from there, and we started doing it twice a week, every Monday and Thursday morning. And that ran for the entirety of both UK lockdowns. And we went from having like 300-400 people on the Facebook page to having nearly 100,000 who regularly watched the free art streams. So again, I didn't want to charge. I wanted this to be able to be enjoyed by anybody. So yeah, it was like a live draw along for 45 minutes twice a week. And yeah, build up a really good community on that side. So I also ran a crowdfunder for the books, the mental health books, and that done really well. But the crypto side, the NFTs, just completely knocked the crowdfunding out the park when it comes to the funds raised. And there was enough there to do everything I wanted to do. I mean, I'd put a lot of money in myself into the project, quite a lot of money. I was in a bit of a financial situation, but yeah, it's going out there. We don't have to worry with publishers. We don't have to deal with agents. It's all going to be available for free, thanks to the people who purchased the Frank Bruno NFTs on the Zilliqa blockchain. So, yeah, it's just been fantastic.
Yeah, just sort of like to echo what Rizzle had been saying too. I feel like this is probably like the first big example of a crypto native foundation to help folks that are part of the scene of NFT land, artists doing their thing that may be impacted by, I mean, life, right? Life always throws a curveball at a lot of people, but to have that direct connection through this project to help support those artists, it's really, really, really deep and profound. And I think it's what a lot of people have been looking for, because this whole space is about supporting one another, helping people in whatever way they can. And this is just, it combines all the great elements of art, story, meaning, importance, and that help aspect into a really, really nice package. So this is like a more of a technical question, just kind of curious, because the previous project you had launched on Zilliqa, will the Giraffe Gang also be on Zilliqa, or will this be on the Ethereum blockchain? Where are you going to mint these guys? Nice.
Ethereum on OpenSea. That's kind of. I did a lot of research to see where NFTs were mainly selling, where the community was mainly buying from, and it was overwhelmingly on Ethereum, on OpenSea. Over like the statistics are overwhelmingly, that's where NFTs are being traded, is OpenSea.
Yeah, makes sense.
I think it just surpassed 1 billion trading OpenSea. I was reading yesterday.
Yeah, that seems like the play, man. I mean, it's awesome that you were to sell out on Zilliqa, but I do feel like, I think we're all sort of on the same page that, this is a project that is important and is great to get out in front of as many people as humanly possible. And, for that, I think you're on the right track in terms of going, at least something that's compatible with OpenSea, even if it's not like layer 1 Ethereum. I think they are compatible with Polygon too, but dude, I'm glad it's going to get that kind of exposure. Are you still pretty much like under the radar in terms of people reaching out to you and wanting to make giraffes, or like, you don't have to necessarily name names, but have people like already hit you up for, wanting to do some collabs or something like that?
No, nothing as of yet. I've only recently, the Twitter for the Giraffe Gang has started to pick up. The Discord is still under 100 members as of today. No, it's still really early, and I'm still trying my best to get the word out there without coming across as spammy. Do you know what I mean? That's the part that I'm finding difficult, of actually getting the word out there, getting the project out there without feeling like I'm spamming or shilling too much. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, we'll try and do that for you with this podcast, man. We'll do the best we can right here.
Appreciate that, man.
dude, I got an honest question, and if this sort of goes like off track here, we can edit this part out. But like, dude, as someone who is very much in appreciation of your project, but is not disabled, but would, you know, be totally down for like, you know, making a shitty giraffe, man. I'm not like an artist either, but I would like, you know, is there a path for people who like, say, believe in your project a lot, would be, you know, maybe even like an artist who would like love to contribute, say, for the cause, and wouldn't want like the, you know, kickback monetarily, would just want to contribute, and maybe that goes into the pool for the disabled artists who are on board or something? Because dude, I feel like there's a lot of people who would be down to like, even if they can't buy a giraffe, like contribute in some capacity.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. And anything like that would bring eyes to the project would be great. Like a lot of the other bigger avatar projects that are out there, I would love to hit them up and say, would you fancy doing a one-off collab on one of the giraffes, just to get exposure to the project and the aims, what we're trying to do. So yeah, of course, someone like you guys doing a giraffe, I would love that. That would be amazing. Do you know what I mean?
Hell
Anything
yeah.
to get more eyes to the project, and so people can see the goals behind it. Is what I want. Do you know what I mean? I want people to see the project. I want the project to be out there. So of course, definitely, man.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Put me down for a giraffe whenever. I can't promise. My art skills are not great, but my intention is good. So,
well, the good thing is the giraffe will already be there. So what you will be doing is graffitiing it. You will be graphing up the giraffe.
All right.
There we go.
So the main giraffe's there. You just add your flair to the giraffe. Add whatever you want: a hat, some glasses, a pipe, a vape, cigar, whatever you want. Do you know what I mean? You can add that to the giraffe.
Dude, I'm totally down. You let me know when you need me to graph a giraffe, dude, and I'm with it. I'll put everything aside. Honestly, it sounds like fun, man. I wish like more projects would tap into my shitty art skills for a good cause. I'd be happy to contribute my shitty art skills for a good cause.
I'm looking forward to see the Rizzle raft. The Rizzle raft will be fire.
It's got a nice ring to it.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome. No, and that's where the graph part comes in too. Like I was looking at them and I could understand that, but now that it's more like templatized, that makes even more sense, and actually kind of opens up the
saves me
the vector. It helps more people collaborate. Honestly, I feel like that reduces a lot of that stress. Or should I participate? I don't know. I feel like anyone.
Well, that's it. Yeah, that's it. I mean, I've got. They can either have the PSD. I use Procreate on the iPad, but it saves in PSD format, so that you can use it on Photoshop on any graphic tablet, or just take the JPEG or the PNG and just scribble on top. Get a cheap little stylus to draw, even if you're doing it on a phone. Anyone can be involved in that way, because the template is there. You can just add your touch to it, add graffiti to it, add whatever. As long as there's no copyright things added, then we're good to go.
Dude, I'm stoked.
No,
I honestly, guys, I really appreciate you spreading the word. Like I'm still very new to the scene. And I've always found myself drawn to the NFT. It seems like the NFT scene and the crypto scene are completely different. I don't know if you find that as well.
Dude, 100%, man. I've actually been saying that for quite a while, and having been in the crypto scene for a long time, I really feel like I sort of found my home amongst like the NFT community, man. I feel like it's like night and day.
It is completely. I mean, I'm not interested in watching graphs all day long about how much the coin's going for. I couldn't care less. And sometimes it's hard to find daily NFT updates and people chatting and hanging out on YouTube the way the crypto influencers. I hate that term, but do you know what I mean? They're always on constantly. But yeah, it doesn't appeal to me the way the NFT scene does.
No, exactly.
I'd much rather have a wallet full of JPEGs any day.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And I think you nailed it on the head right there. Like the OG crypto scene is a bunch of people who are obsessed with numbers and graphs, right?
Yeah.
Folks in the NFT scene are obsessed with culture, art, and doing fucking cool, weird shit.
Yeah,
and there's no better group of people that I'd ever want to be associated with, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. And everyone seems genuine on the NFT scene. I've found so far. Whereas on the crypto, you see lots of like, even the charity side, like, and you find out there's people scamming in the name of charities and stuff like that. And I just find that, obviously, I find that despicable. Whereas the NFT scene doesn't seem to be like that. Everyone seems genuine so far that I've met anyway.
Yeah, I think there's definitely room, and people are trying to come into the NFT space just because of the hype and the numbers. And I feel like you're seeing a lot of projects that are sort of like cash grabby, right?
Yeah.
So I think that it's the job of the folks that have been here for a minute, right, to kind of highlight projects like the Graf Giraffe Gang and what you're doing, to kind of differentiate them from what would otherwise probably potentially be like a cash grab, or what people could be wary about at this point in time. So I mean, we gotta safeguard the space that we've come to love, and that's become home for us, to prevent it from becoming sort of like scammy, like the traditional crypto space. But I'm curious, man, like, outside of this, like, any other projects, or like what other part of the NFT scene are you super excited about? Any projects that you're digging or excited? I mean, I love VR. I'm not so much on the gaming side, but I love VR, and I don't know how to explain this. There's been like the biomechanical side and the medical side, using blockchain technology. I will not be able to do it justice, but there is a lot of advances in medicine now. Luke and I can explain this much better than I can. But my dream ultimately is to become, like, because of the way my spine is and the spinal damage, is to be some sort of robot in the metaverse through VR, so that I can, like, do the things I can't do in real life. That would be great. That really excites us. Things that are way off really excite us, but definitely the metaverse, 100%. I mean, because I've got 2 young children, and during the pandemic, they pretty much lived in the metaverse without knowing it. They were on Hangouts on one device whilst playing Minecraft and Roblox on another device. And they kind of get NFTs much more than people my age do. They really get it because they spend all their money on mine coins and Robux so they can buy digital collectibles. When there's a new drop on any one of their games, or new sleeves, or new suits, they go wild. They're not interested in buying regular toys. Everything they want to buy is digital, so they completely see the value of it. And like I said, during the whole lockdowns in the UK, they pretty much lived entirely in the metaverse. That's where they connected with all their friends. They were all on group chats whilst they were all playing games. And it was mind-blowing to see. And they just adapted to it like that. Straight away, the kids they get it. Do you know what I mean?
Dude, 100%, man. All of this will be the norm. I feel like, 10 years from now, when, it's like a big adjustment for, those of us who are growing up around video games and the internet and everything, but it'll just be the way it was always supposed to be eventually.
Definitely.
Dude, really, really appreciate you coming on the podcast with us, man. I feel like this space is aching for more people like yourself. One of the things we love to do, though, man, is like sort of super intrusive, and we really like to look inside of people's crypto wallets and see if and what they've been collecting on the side that may not have anything to do with their personal projects. And if there's not a ton in there, just sort of interested in what other projects you've been checking out or tinkering around with in the NFT scene.
There's not at the moment. To be honest, I haven't had the funds. All my money was going into the children's mental health book, but I was following eagerly all the way through. But everything was going into that project. But I do have my eye on a few. I do like subducks. I've got to admit, there's something about them that I really, really like. I had the chance to buy an ape when they first came out, but I didn't. Like, they even follow me on Twitter. I was that early checking out the project and getting involved. I just thought, wow, that's really cool. But yeah, I didn't buy it. I didn't buy one at the time because I was like, no, I need to keep all the money for this book.
Good for you, man.
It was still in development at the time, and I was just I'd already thrown my savings at it, and I was throwing every penny at this book. So yeah, but there's lots that I'm into. But like subducts or something about them, they're just I really like the style.
Awesome, dude.
Hell yeah.
We had them. We had Frankie from Subducts on the podcast a few weeks ago or so.
Yeah, I listened, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's one of the OGs and a great dude. Dude, I can't think of any better excuse not to have a subduck or an ape than to be spending all your money trying to get a children's book off the ground that every child on the planet can be exposed to, man. So shit.
Yeah, well that'll be coming out in October, and that will be worried Frank, all one word, .co.uk or worriedfrank.com. The website is there at the moment, but there's nothing on it. But that will be coming, and there will then be an Android app, an iPad app, and it will also be you can use it natively on mobile. And if for people who don't have that capacity in certain countries, if they only have like desktops, laptops, that will also be readable on those devices as well. So yeah, the engineering that side has been tough work. But yeah, like I say, all the money, all the spare money I've had went into that. So yeah, man.
Awesome. And then I know you dropped a bunch of other channels and Discords and Twitter handles for folks to follow. But just one more time before we wrap up, remind folks what websites, what Twitter handles they need to be following and what Discords they need to join to prepare for the Graf Giraffe Gang drop.
Yeah, man. So the website is grafgiraffegang.co.uk. We've got .com and .io, but they're not linked up for some reason. I'm trying to get that sorted out. Twitter is @Graf Giraffe Gang. Discord, just search Graf Giraffe Gang. Should come up there. On my personal Twitter is @Simon Hetherington, and my website is simonhetherington.com, where you can find out more about other projects I've done in the past, children's books, the live streams that we run. We'll start running them up in the winter because no doubt the UK will go into a third lockdown. I'm almost certain. So we will be running those free classes for kids once again. If we're needed, we will be there. That's the plan.
Amazing.
Awesome. Well, Simon, man, it was an absolute pleasure to get the chance to talk to you, hear your story, and all the amazing shit that you're doing. And very excited for Graf Giraffe Gang. Excited to help promote it with the podcast. Yeah. And I mean, we're going to talk about this at the Whip as well, to try to get people interested in this and hopefully find some more collaborators as well.
Incoming Rizzle Raff.
Yeah, incoming
Rizzle
Raff.
Honestly, Matthew Rizzle, I just want to say genuinely thanks so much for helping me spread the word. It's very much appreciated. Love what you guys do. Love the podcast. And just a big thank you for giving me the opportunity to jump on. Really appreciate it, guys.
Dude, you're doing the hard work here, man, and it's very much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this week's show. Before we go, just want to remind you once again about this week's sponsor, Metacast Group. Metacast Group connects companies with creators in the NFT space through a network of NFT and metaverse-focused content creators and influencers. So if you want to hear or see your ad on shows just like the Matthew and Rizzle show, to amplify your reach, connect with your target audience, promote your project, and convert views into action, reach out to us at metacastgroup.com or follow us at Metacast Group on Twitter. Thank you, and see you all the next episode.